Good afternoon. How's everybody doing today? I'm your host, Ghost Mostly, and welcome to Afternoon Chat. It's Friday. It's been a long week, no chatters. It's going to get better. You just got to trust YouTube. They'll figure it out. Look at that, 2 days in a row, and I'm actually wearing a shirt. We're improving every day around here. Well, the lighting doesn't look too awfully bad. I'm still going to have to go out and buy new lights. Maybe next week we'll get some more color in here too. I'm wearing a black t-shirt with a black flannel in front of a black couch. Yeah. It's not the look I was going for. We'll figure it out eventually. The chat's active. If you want to talk, any subject matter you like is fine. Within the community guidelines that YouTube has previously established for us, right? I don't have any set agenda to talk about. Okay. You guys can set the agenda anytime you like. Go to YouTube, download the Discord app so that you can chat. Phone, iPad, computer. Hopefully, YouTube will get us in front of the people we need to be in front of, and the chat will populate. The people in the chat are going to be the stars of this show, not me. This is one of the few shows on television that are not trying to sell you anything. No sponsors, no mid-roll ads, no commercials whatsoever. I'm not coming out with my own line of merch. Okay, I'm not trying to manipulate or control or do anything to the audience, right? It's the other way. I'm depending on the audience to make the show. If you guys don't guest star by doing the chat, it's just me sitting here talking to my computer. So feel free to jump in here. The Ghost Mostly is an alias that I used to use when I was writing song lyrics for a band. I wanted to be a ghost writer. I didn't want the band to have to put my name on anything or pay me anything. So I became Ghost Mostly at that point. And when this project came up, I just simply took the same alias because I liked it. And I just rolled it forward, and I created Ghost Mostly Media, LLC. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the media company. I haven't made any decisions as far as that goes. The initial project I wanted to do was to create this show was not for profit, but the corporation is for profit, right? Eventually I need to get monetized on YouTube. So I do need the likes and the subscribers and the viewing hours. They have tiers set up in each of those categories that I have to reach before I get monetized. It'll happen eventually. I'm not going to sweat it right now. I haven't decided what else I want to put on TV. I was thinking I could do all kinds of things. Everything from instructional videos to, I don't know. I was thinking yesterday I might be able to write a play. Okay. We'll see. You know, it'll all work out in the end. For right now, the only thing I wanted to do was I spent most of my adult life in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the table games industry. And I got used to meeting a lot of people every week, at least 100, talking to people from different areas of the world. And in my retirement or semi-retirement here, I missed that. So I thought there's no one else doing an open chat room. And it's not a hosted open chat room. And I'm like, well, why not me? It will fulfill my need to meet people and talk to people from different areas of the planet. So it seems like it'll fit right into balancing out my life. Okay. I'm actually hoping that the chat can make suggestions, give me directions, kind of mold this show into what everyone wants it to become. As far as the media company, I'll determine what I want to do with that down the line. I'm not going to start any other projects right now. I'm just in the planning stages of anything else. And be honest with you, they're pretty much on hold. I'll wait until this show takes off. When I determined that I wanted to do this project, I figured I'd make a commitment to myself to do it for 3 years, to make an honest attempt to build a chat community that wanted to talk every afternoon. Well, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. When I originally set up the hours, the only thing that really mattered, well, there were two things. I needed the show to be, if it's going to be called afternoon chat, I needed it to be in the afternoon in all 3 time zones in the continental United States. That was issue number 1. And issue number 2 was I needed it to be, separate from my favorite pastime, which is watching NFL football. Okay. So if you notice, I'm not scheduled to live stream during any NFL games. Okay. I haven't decided what I'm going to do about Thanksgiving Day. I'm probably going to not have the live stream, and I'm probably just going to watch the game, because it's going to be a revenge game with the Lions, my Lions, going against Green Bay, who beat us in week 1. I'm expecting a 50 burger put up by the Lions that day. So it's a priority for me. I know it's stupid to be a fan, but I am. So It is what it is. Excuse me. No, I can't. I'm not going to do a live stream on Sunday or Monday night against the football games that I want to watch. But, I set up the hours. But once the chat gets populated, if those hours need to adjust one way or another, or we need to change things, I'm open to suggestion. It's not one of those things where it's got to be my way or the highway. You know what I'm saying? I'm open to change. Okay. The hardest part about doing this was getting solving all my connectivity issues, and they're finally behind us. So I think it's going to work out all right. I think this week I have not been booted off the live stream or had any issues at all. So I feel like we're laying the groundwork to become a dependable, reliable show that'll be here Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. for all those who want to chat. I don't care what we talk about. It can be anything that's on your mind. I don't know, your perspective. I don't know what part of the world you're in. I don't know what part of our society you fit into, but, I'm looking forward to finding out. Find out what your priorities are. What do you want to discuss? What do you need more information on? That's the way I feel about it. My personal opinion. That's the only thing I can offer you. In essence, I've invited the world into my living room to have a discussion. Okay. So, hopefully we'll all conduct ourselves accordingly. I've been looking over my previous live streams and trying to correct some issues, trying to change some issues, but they're really minuscule issues for now. That could change next week, but right now I'm just thinking I need a little more color in the background here, and I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe I should brush my hair more than once a day. But we'll see how everything turns out, how the show turns out. It seems to be running pretty smooth now. We're getting viewers, we're just not getting chatters. Okay. As far as I know, the Discord app is free. Just go to youtube.com and download their Discord app, and you'll be able to get in here and chat. I do know that if you're watching on your TV, if you want to be able to see the live chat, you've got to enable it. You've got to connect to it. And that's also where you're going to find that like button. Okay. But, and the subscribe and all that. I'm counting on the people watching the show to do what they got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do to keep the show on the air and keep it running. And eventually the chat's going to populate, and it's going to be busy in here. We're going to have some good discussions, I'm sure. So Sunday, we got a big football game coming up. It's on my mind. Okay. Cleveland's got the number one defense in the league on paper. So I think that the Lions offense is going to have their work cut out for them, but I think they'll be able to accomplish everything they need to do. The game opened at with the Lions being a 8.5 point favorite, and now that's up to a 10-point favorite. But like I said yesterday, that has nothing to do with who's going to win the game. The line plus or minus points, that does not have to do with who's going to win the game. That has to do with who's going to bet on the game. That's about the money side of gambling. The line is adjusted based on the amount of money wagered in the casinos, in the legal venues for gambling on sporting events. So if the line opens at 8.5 and everybody comes in and bets on the Lions, that gets their risk, the casino's risk, up higher than their reward. So in order to reduce their risk, they must then in turn go on to the other side and increase that number to make it more attractive for the Cleveland people to bet on their team and balance it out. The casino's goal is to have equal betting on both sides. They make their money off of the vigorish. They want to get as much betting on both sides equally as possible. So if you were to bet the favorite early in the week and you got the Lions minus 8.5, then at the end of the week, you go and you bet on the underdog. After the line is moved, you could have two bets in the same game. One bet would be the Lions minus the 8.5 points, and the other bet would be Cleveland plus 10 points. The only reason that you would bet on both sides like that is if you were trying to middle the game. If the Lions were to win the game by exactly 9 points, you would in that instance cash both of your tickets. Any other total that ended up, one of your tickets would be a winner and the other would be a loser. So the only thing you're risking is the vigorish. Vigorish is why you lay $11 and $10. That dollar extra is the vigorish. That's the casino's profit margin. They don't care who wins or loses. They care about the number of dollars that are wagered in their casino on that particular game. They want to get as much betting as possible on both sides, but they want it to remain even. They don't want one high and one low, because then they could take a loss. They don't want to lose money. They want to break even on the money bet in their establishment, and then they just win their vigorish, their built-in percentage. I have successfully middled games. It's not easy. If it was easy, they'd fix it so that it wasn't possible. Okay. If you're really that serious about handicapping, I would suggest you take classes. Okay. Because there's really a lot to it. Well, you have other options. You don't have to utilize the point spread. You could do your wagering on what they call a money line, where you would just need your team to win. Some say that the money line is a higher risk, but it's also a greater reward in many instances. If you're betting on the underdog and you can get 2-1 on your money instead of winning 10 for every 11 that you bet. But I don't want you to think this is a gambling show. Okay. This is a chat room. We can chat about anything you'd like to talk about. Just go to YouTube and download the Discord app. Eventually, we're going to have people in here chatting, and I will drift into the background of the show, and the chat will become the stars. I'll just do my ghost stuff, and I'll be moderating the channel and reading the chats and trying to help carry the discussion. This is not about me trying to get famous. Okay. No. That's part of why I use an alias, right? I understand that most of the world is on some kind of greed crusade, but I'm not one of those guys. Okay, that's not my bag. I just like to communicate. I like to talk to people. I like to meet people, find out what's on their mind. I miss that from being on the front line of the casino industry. You know, in your average casino, thousands of people walk through the door every day. And they're not the same people every day. It always changes. I used to chat back in the day, and there were a lot of open chat rooms where there was no particular subject. But I feel that by hosting a chat room, I can keep a modicum of decency in the room. Let's have open and honest discussions, but let's do it without all the name calling, without doxing other people and threats and all this stuff. I see all that on the other platforms, which is why I'm only on YouTube. Okay. I'm not going to get on Twitch. I'm not going to get on X or Blue or any of them. They don't interest me. I don't even have a Facebook page. Okay. Doesn't interest me in the least. I'm not advertising the show on those other platforms or doing any of that. I see no need. YouTube will straighten this whole thing out eventually. Their algorithm will analyze what this show is doing. And then they will put us in front of the people that we need to be in front of. And then those people will join the Discord, and they will get in here, and we'll have great discussions. I've thought about doing different hours of the day, and this kind of. I've also thought about getting other hosts. Well, you could have one host for a morning chat, me doing the afternoon chat, and then you could have a third host doing an evening chat, right? All kinds of possibilities. We'll see what the people that fill up the Discord want. And then, my company will try to fill that void and give them what they need, what they want. For right now, I'm just trying to get to talk to people and find out what people want. Oh, I've had all kinds of ideas. I've had yesterday I went for a walk in the park and I saw a pickup basketball game. Half a dozen guys playing half court. And then I thought, well, I could just call that the pickup show and I could film it and post it or put it on a live stream. I don't know who the guys were. Okay. If they're playing out in public, I can film them. So, I'm not planning on doing that, but I was thinking, wouldn't that be cool to do, a pickup basketball game in a different city every week or something? You know what I mean? Could be interesting. Could be fun. Well, I thought about the go to a indoor gymnasium and shoot but those guys might have an agenda, right? They might be trying to play pro or semi-pro or something like that. The idea of the pickup game is it's just guys, Well, for years, I used to carry sporting equipment in the trunk of my car. I'd have a basketball, a baseball, a bat, softball, my glove, a frisbee, a football. Okay, I had them all in the trunk, and if I was driving by a park and I had an hour to kill, and I see a lopsided team, you see 5 guys playing, and you say, you pull up, you park your car, you walk up and say, hey, you're looking for a 6th man? Get a little 3-on-3 half court going, Back in the day. I don't do that anymore. But, when I was young, I did. Well, it's not like it was hard to do, You're just driving by the court and you see that they got an odd number of guys. Jump in there and make it an even number, I preferred that over joining a softball team and getting in the league and making a commitment. I'm going to do this for the next 16 weeks. I didn't want to make that commitment for 16 weeks. I was willing to make it for 2 hours. Okay. But I didn't want, it's like when you go out and buy a boat, that's what jumps to my mind. You're making a commitment. All right, every weekend I'm going to go boating. Well, what if you don't want to go boating? Right? If you're going to own and maintain and use a boat, it's a commitment of your time. Same thing as joining a bowling league is a commitment of your time. Oh, every Thursday night I'll be here, I don't want to make that kind of a commitment because I prefer to freewheel it a little bit. What if I want to do something different every Thursday, But that's just me. I know guys that are on leagues every year. They got golfing leagues, they got bowling leagues, they got softball leagues, it's whatever you want to do. But, for me, I want to play this today, but I don't want to make a commitment to play this every day, right? Yes, I'm a smoker. Get past it. I don't recommend it for anyone else. I smoke cigarettes and I smoke pot. I don't recommend either. Well, here, I'm in Michigan. We have recreational marijuana legalized as it can be in our society. I would not recommend anyone ever break a law. As far as this show goes, I would like to, I'm hoping that we can stay with like a G type rating, available for everybody in case somebody's kids are watching or, nearby. I don't want it to get out of hand. If it does end up with more of an R rating based on, the chat, the people in the chat, so be it. As long as we're staying within the community guidelines that YouTube has established, I think we'll be good. I'll be the only one moderating the channel. And to be honest, I'm gonna, be pretty permissive. I'm gonna let people say what they need to say. I believe that we all have the right to be heard and to speak our opinions. I think the more we speak our opinions, the better at speaking our opinions we'll get, right? A lot of people have trouble putting their thoughts into words. It's one of those things. It's other people feel embarrassed, and they shouldn't. I respect every human being on the planet, and I'm never too busy to give them a smile. Okay, a word of encouragement. Okay, your opinion matters. Even if it's the same as everyone else's opinion, it matters, right? If it's different opinion than everyone else, it matters. That's part of, respecting your fellow human beings. I don't hold with prejudice and don't hold with hatred. I don't think either one of them would belong in our society. I understand that they're there and they're going to be there. Doesn't mean that I have to like them. Well, the Civil Rights Act in the United States was passed in the mid-60s. All right. So if you're holding on to a prejudice, 80 years later, that's one of your faults. Okay. Most prejudice is stemmed from a lack of knowledge or an uncontrolled fear. In my opinion. Okay. Feel free to jump in the chat with a differing opinion. I would love to discuss it. Okay. We can talk about anything you want to talk about. I just, in my opinion, I think that There's too much anger. There's too much hatred. There's too much fear. I believe that that's all adding to the stress, which is killing people all over the planet. I'm not afraid to go outside. I'm not afraid to walk up to a stranger and say hi. Okay. I'm never going to be afraid to do that. I don't care if it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Okay. I really don't. But that's just me. There's no reason to be afraid of that other guy. That other guy is one of my neighbors. He's in my town. He's one of my neighbors. It's my fault I don't know him. You know, he was probably out here at the same time yesterday and I wasn't. So, you know. I've met so many nice and good people from every country on the planet. I don't fall into that whole prejudicial entrapment bull. All right. You know, people say, oh, I'm afraid of the Iranians. I've met Iranian people. They're nice people. Okay. You know, I can think of two guys I used to work with, Abdul and Saeed. They were great guys, right? The prejudices, it has to do with uncontrolled fear. You know, if you're really afraid of somebody, go have lunch with them. Okay, you'll find out that you got more in common than you got different. People are all basically the same. Everybody loves their mother. I don't care what religion they are. They love their mom. I don't care what race they are. They love their mom. I don't care how old they are. They love their mom. Right? We have more common ground than you realize because, well, number one, our news media sucks. Literally sucks. Okay. In my opinion. They're all giving you a biased look at the world. And not only are they biased in what they're talking to you about, but they're biased about what they're not telling you, right? Well, the one that jumps to my mind in this instance is the genocide that's going on in Gaza. Here in America, that's not in our news. They're consciously not telling us about it on purpose. They have decided we don't need to know that. If we did know it, we'd get upset about it because it is a genocide, right? They're doing some very heinous things under the guise of war. War is very heinous in its own form, right? But you've got all kinds of subcategories of heinousness. Okay. Atrocities. I'm not saying that I'm pro Hamas. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that if you're a Palestinian and you need to feed your family, who's hiring? The only one that's hiring the Palestinian people, the only one that will cut them a paycheck, are the terrorist organizations. When your family hasn't had food for a couple of days, you're going to do whatever you have to do to get food on your family's table. And I think that's where the people of Palestine are at. I don't think they want to be terrorists. I don't think they want to be at war. I think they want to feed their families. If the bad guys are the only ones with food, what are you going to do? They can't all steal the same loaf of bread. Okay. It's not possible. They have cornered these people and they give them no option. Were the acts of war conducted by both sides heinous? Yes. Right? I'm not trying to say who's right or wrong. I'm trying to say that genocide is wrong. You don't just kill the people because they're not the same as you. It doesn't give you a freebie. Let's go out and kill today. No. Sorry, I disagree. I know that there are a lot of strong feelings on both sides. There usually is in war. But I'm saying that our news in America, in the United States, is tainted. They're not giving you the full picture. Realistically, I think if both sides of the war got to see the full picture, they probably end the war. I don't think that wars solve anything. I really don't. It's, to me, it's just proof that people are not communicating. If they could sit down and talk things out and work things out and not kill each other, and actually collaborate and work together on something, they could actually accomplish something. But that's just my personal opinion. I'd love to hear yours. Jump in the chat. Tell me, shut up. Tell me where I'm wrong. Okay. I could respect that. Just because I'm talking doesn't mean that we have to agree. I understand that, I only have my perspective. That's why I'd like to get you guys into the chat to tell me your perspective, to show it to me. I'm still drinking my Dr. Pepper. I haven't moved up to my Gatorade yet. Well, I went back to bed, took a 2-hour nap. It's Friday. I might want to stay up late tonight. You never know. So I took a nap. In my retirement, I've become a nap specialist. I literally like to get up in the morning, have my coffee and my toast, and then go back to bed, sleep for 2 more hours, and then get up and start my day. It's wonderful. But I after my nap, I got busy. I got my chores are done. I'm caught up. You know what I mean? When I end this stream, I'll go for my walk. Then I'll come home and I'll cook my dinner, And I think I'm having hot dogs tonight. I love hot dogs. It comes from being a kid, you know. Well, I know you're not supposed to eat processed meats necessarily, you know. I don't eat them every day, you know, but, you know, once a week is cool. Anything, I think, in my opinion, anything that you find in your life to do or partake in is fine in moderation. If you go overboard with any one thing, and I don't care what it is, if you take it to an extreme, it's probably going to end up being bad for you. Well, I drink decaf coffee in the morning. The only caffeine I get anymore is from my 2 Dr. Peppers I have every day. I was at 6 a day, so down to 2 a day. I'm no longer. 6 was a bit extreme. That was probably unhealthful. Okay. So I'm down to 2 a day. That's progress. I'm doing better. In moderation, I should be all right. Right. Anything that you do to extreme could be detrimental in the long run. That's my belief. I went to decaf because I was drinking gallons and gallons of coffee every day. I would drink a full pot of coffee in the morning before work, and then a couple more pots while I was at work, and then I'd go have dinner and get a coffee after. You know, it was too much. So I switched. I gradually switched from regular coffee to decaffeinated. I started out with like a half and half blend, and then, you know, I'd say within a year, maybe 2, it was all decaf. And now I even put a spoon of honey in my first cup of decaf. Not in every cup, just in the first one. Well, I got a friend, Crumbelina, and she tells me that the honey is good for you, right? And I don't, you know, I'm not like a big sugar guy. Well, like last night, I made a spice cake after dinner, and I did not frost the spice cake. I'm eating it without frosting. Okay. If it's too sugary, I won't like it. So why put frosting on it? The spice cake is sweet enough. I had an option. I had an option of chocolate or spice, and I went with the spice last night. And if I were to get something to put on it, it'd probably be ice cream. Okay. Well, all right, whipped cream. I prefer that stuff over frosting. Just my personal preference. Well, they make some of this stuff too sweet for me, for my taste. I don't, you know, I'm not craving sugar like I was when I was a kid, you know. I I like a little bit of sugar from time to time. you know. But, anything that you want to ingest in moderation is probably okay. But if you go overboard, you're probably going to have issues, in my opinion. Okay. I'll probably have my hot dogs tonight, and then later in the evening, I'll have my spice cake for dessert or a late night snack. Yesterday, I was watching Thursday night football, so I did I made dinner. I had ham steak and hash browns for dinner, and then after dinner, prior to the game starting, I whipped up a spice cake, and then while the cake was baking, I did all my dishes, got them out of the way. So then when I sat down to watch the football game, I didn't have any chores left to do. Everything was done. And when, halftime come rolling around, I went out and grabbed a slice of cake. Then when the fourth quarter hit, I went out and got another slice of cake. I didn't eat half the cake. I only ate about a quarter of it. Well, when I get to decide how big the slices are, I can't help it. Well, once in a while, you got to pamper yourself. Well, I could have ate the cake while it was hot during the first half of the football game, but I elected to have a beer instead. Well, I was watching Tom Grossi last night. I like to watch him call the games. He can be quite entertaining. No, I wasn't chatting, just like you guys, not chatting. You're watching, we got viewers, but we got nobody in the chat, same thing. Well, sometimes you're busy, you're doing other things, maybe you don't have time to chat. Could be wrangling kids. I did that when I was younger. Speaking of younger, my youngest son called last night. I talked to him for about half an hour. Good kid. I had 2 sons and I have a granddaughter. Monday, my oldest son's birthday. He'll be turning 51 because he's an old man. Okay. And my youngest is 28. And I had 2 sons 23 years apart. Well, evidently I didn't learn my lesson the first time. Granddaughter's 17 and she's just a treasure. She's smart, beautiful. I am looking forward to watching her. I'm real curious as to what she ends up, what field she ends up going into. I'm not sure what she's going to do for right now. She was into dance quite a bit. I thought maybe she'll be a dancer, but now that seems to have taken a back seat. She's just got her first job It's in retail sales. As long as she's happy, I'm happy. Okay. Well, that's the problem when there's no one in the chat, is you guys are finding out way too much information about me. It's not about me. This show should be about you, the people in the chat. Get in here and talk my ear off, okay? You guys are supposed to be the stars of the show. I'm supposed to just drift back into the woodwork and not be really noticed. Yeah, I used to chat quite a bit back in the day. I liked doing it, but I've always liked people, finding out what's on their mind, what they're thinking about. A lot of it I found very interesting is people were doing strange things, in comparison to what I was doing. Well, number one, most families, they have their children as little stair steps, right? They're usually 1 or 2 years apart in age. To me, I think I did it the smart way. My oldest was old enough to be trusted as a babysitter for my youngest. Made perfect sense to me. I'm glad I had kids. I'm real proud of them. But I'm also glad that they're out on their own. Uh, it's a lot of responsibility raising kids. If you're going to try to be there for them. I started having kids when I was young, and I finished having kids when I was old. I'm hoping my granddaughter doesn't have any for 20 years, because yeah, the thought of me being a great grandpa, that's wow. I can't get a grip on that. Hopefully she'll wait until she's in her 30s, Not like I have anything to say about it, you know what I mean? She does have a boyfriend. He's a nice young man. I've spoken to him on the phone. She's very smart young lady, you ask me. I'm not sure where she's going to go to college. Offhand, I'm thinking UNLV, but I really don't know. She'll probably end up earning a scholarship of some type. She's extremely smart, so we'll see where she ends up. Hopefully someplace with a football team. That's just me. And I really don't follow college football at all. I really don't follow college sports. There's too many colleges. Well, I follow the ones in Michigan, I have family members that are also alumni of Notre Dame. So on a given weekend, I'll watch the Michigan or Michigan State and or Notre Dame and or sometimes Northwestern, sometimes Purdue. Uh, the ones in this area. And then, I always try to pick up on the Broncos, Western Michigan University, or the Chippewas, Central Michigan University. I have family members that went to these schools, and it's their alma mater. And, I got an aunt and uncle that are tailgating at every Notre Dame game. I know I get to see the pictures. I could go down and attend if I wanted, but I'm happy seeing the pictures. That's my Tuesday morning routine. Is I sit down with a bunch of relatives and we all have breakfast together. We've been doing it for years, and I get to catch up with what's going on with their kids and grandkids, and see pictures and watch videos, and fun family heartwarming stuff. You know what I mean? I think we all need that. You got to feel that familial connection. Well, nowadays my kids travel the globe. They go all over the world, so I'm happy when they come into town to see me. Both my kids and my granddaughter all live in Vegas. And no, they're not in the casino industry. That was what I did. Maybe they learned from me. I don't recommend the casino industry for anyone to make a living. I would recommend owning a casino, okay, but not working for them. Well, they don't exactly share the wealth. I think that's the problem with most of the corporations in America, is they don't allow the success to go down the corporate ladder. I know people working in the casino industry that have been in the industry for 20 years making minimal wages. If the casino could be successful for 20 years and profitable for 20 years, why couldn't that minimum wage have been raised? It could have. They chose not to. So I would not recommend that for a line of work. I think that, if you're going to give 20 or 30 years of your life to an industry, you need to be able to progress in that industry and to make more as you go. As your experience and your knowledge rises, so should your paycheck. Personal opinion. Well, I have plans with Ghost Mostly Media, LLC. And, well, number one, I don't ever plan to hire anyone at minimum wage. And number two, I don't want to put a cap on what they're going to make. If the corporation's making money, I think everyone should make money. But I'm not the CEO. I'm the OOO, the only operating officer. Okay. We have no employees. There's no production staff. As you can see, no makeup artist. It's, yeah, it is what it is. I'm I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the company. I really am not. I am just coming to terms with the knowledge that I can basically put anything on television that I want to put on television. I've never been in that position before, and well, number one, it seems very exciting, but number two, it seems like I need to be real responsible with the choices I make. I don't want to rush into anything and then end up getting sued, you know. Well, I think that in business, you got to take that into consideration nowadays, you know. I'm looking forward to seeing what all areas I get into. I have no predetermined expectations, but you know, I do know that eventually I would like my corporation to make money. Okay, I know it won't with this show, but that's because of the choices I made with this show. I choose not to have any sponsors. I choose not to have commercials by choice. That's my decision. Well, I hate commercials, and I prefer to watch shows without commercials. So, you know, why would I want to be in a show with commercials? I think it's real interesting though, and I'm excited about the opportunities that are basically available to me right now. I mean, I could be shooting videos. I'm only doing this show 10 hours a week. I could be shooting and editing videos right now and preparing to release them at some point by having this channel and starting the subscribers and the viewing hours and all that. At some point, I will get monetized on YouTube. And once I do, I'm free to start posting anything I want for profit. We'll see how it works out. You know, we'll see what I get into, what I end up posting. The only, other than this show, the only thing I have offered is I have two channels, and I offered one of my channels to my pastor or my father's pastor, depending on how you look at that. Well, he's going through some stuff right now. He's already on Facebook, and you know, he's got his congregation, and you know, he's got a lot on his plate already. But I offered it to him just because I find him an interesting man, and I thought he'd be a worthwhile cause to support, you know. But he hasn't made a decision, and I'm not going to pressure him about anything, you know. Well, Ghost Mostly Media is here. It's an entity I created, so eventually we're going to be putting a lot more on the air than just this show. I'm open to ideas. Jump in the chat. Tell me what you think I ought to do with the channel. You know, let me know your opinion. Yeah, I'm not sure I have comments turned on or off on this channel. I'll probably get into that this weekend. I got to get into the weeds and do some computer work. I got to Well, I created a Patreon page in case someone wanted to support the channel, but I don't believe I've activated it yet. And, I got other crapola I got to do. Okay. I'll get in and I'll sort some of it out maybe this weekend, Well, depends. We'll see how tomorrow goes. I could sleep till noon. You never know. I mean, I'm going to try to get some stuff done this weekend, but I'm not going to paint myself into a corner and say, oh, I'll get this done. I don't operate that way. I got one speed. I call it if and when. Okay. If I get there when I get there, I'm sure I'll be right on time. Well, it's my stress-free lifestyle. Okay. I like being stress-free. It's good for me. Well, some say lazy. I say stress-free. I don't think I'm lazy. I think I avoid stress whenever possible. Things will come together. YouTube is going to sort all this stuff out. This channel will take off. I'll get to the 1,000 subscribers. I'll get to the 4,000 viewing hours. I'll get to the monetization portion. And then, once I hit those milestones, I'll figure out what I want to do with the channel. I see no reason to rush in and make snap decisions at this point. I made a commitment that I'd do this, commitment to myself, that I'd do this show for 3 years to give myself an honest opportunity to build an audience that wants to chat, that wants to communicate. Well, I think anything less than 3 years, you're not giving it an honest shot, right? And it is only 10 hours a week that I'm doing this. Back in the day, I used to work, 10 to 12 hours a day. Okay, so a 2-hour workday, 5 days a week is not too much to ask. I can fade that. Okay. But yeah, jump in the chat room. Download the Discord app first, then jump in the chat room, and then you can chat, ask questions, talk, discuss anything you want within the community guidelines. Hopefully, it won't take YouTube much longer to sort this out. It's only been up and running, I think today makes 25 days. They'll get us sorted out, and they'll put us in front of the people we need to be in front of. I'm not going to stack the chat with my friends and family or any of that garbage. I'm going to let YouTube do what YouTube does. And whoever is on YouTube, they track down your audience for you. They find your audience for you, and they put you in front of your audience and give your audience a chance to click on your videos or whatever. In this case, a live stream. And I have it set so that whatever is said in the chat will be left in the video that's posted on YouTube afterwards, so people can go back and look through the conversations and see what was said. I think that's important. They gave me a option, a couple other buttons to click, so I clicked them. Live replay and chat summary and the like. I think there's even a leaderboard thingy on there now. I click them all, turn them on. Let's see what happens. Right now, I'm doing this in the category of people and blogs. I'm not even sure that's where this show's supposed to be. YouTube will figure it out. Okay. That's what they do. Their algorithm is designed to make idiots like me successful. Okay. So I'm going to let them do what they do. I'm going to do what I do. And you guys should all do what you're going to do. You do the thing. I'll do the thing. They'll do the thing. And eventually, I think we're going to have a successful show. We'll get people in the chat. We've had a few. It'll all work out in the long run. I believe that. There are a lot of reasons that there's no one in the chat. YouTube could be putting us in front of people that don't chat. They'll figure it out eventually. We're getting views. The subscriptions are going up, slow but sure, I have not checked the likes or any of that crapola. But they told me that I need likes, subscribers, and viewing hours. So as we get those, we'll progress. They give me all kinds of numbers and whatnot. I haven't gotten into the weeds on that. That's like homework, okay? Who wants to do homework? I mean, I will eventually. I'll get in there and I'll go down every one of those little rabbit holes and I'll try to glean as much information as I can. I'm under the category of people and blogs right now. Maybe I should be under entertainment. Maybe I should just be under podcasts. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Or you could get in the chat and you could straighten me out and tell me, okay, if you see I'm doing something wrong, why not? Jump in here and straighten me out right now. Well, I'm sure you guys know more about this stuff than I do. You probably care about it more than I do. Okay, to be honest with you. I kind of round things off, I'm not really a detail-oriented guy. I used to be, You can't be a casino shift manager if you don't take care of the little details, all right? I used to be sharp, okay? But now I just don't care. It does not matter to me. Well, maybe after you guys straighten me out, I'll start caring. I'm making little improvements. I got a shirt on. Okay. My hair doesn't look red. All right. My lighting is getting evener. It's not perfect yet, but it's improving. Do you really want to see all my wrinkles? I mean, high definition has got its pluses and its minuses, okay? Yeah, my makeup artist, she didn't come in today. I don't know why. Well, or he could have been a man. I gotta really stop this misogynistic sounding. I don't think that way. I never think to say he or she or he. You know, I just, you know, I take shortcuts. I verbal shortcuts. All right. I probably shouldn't be taking those verbal shortcuts. I should probably be dotting every I and crossing every T, as they say. But it's not really where I'm at in my life. In my life, I'm more of a oh well. It'll all work out in the end. I promise you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm trying to be reliable, trying to be stable, trying to be dependable. Afternoon chat will be on every Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can say anything you want, get it off your chest. You have a right to voice your opinion here in this show. If you ever wanted to talk to your TV, now's your chance, right? Somebody will get in the chat, and then somebody else will get in the chat, and it'll build eventually. We ain't got to worry about it. We got 3 years to pull it together, I don't see it going that much longer without people in the chat. I think that YouTube will zero in on some people and get them in here. The views are there. We're getting a few each day, It'll add up over the course of time. I love Dr. Pepper. I do. It's the only caffeine that I get, I don't do the energy drinks or any of those. And I only drink decaffeinated coffee now. So the only caffeine I get is from the 2 Dr. Peppers. I was actually thinking about doing a picnic lunch tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. See how late I sleep. I'm not going to be in a rush to get up in the morning. I know that. Well, I'll be watching college football, different times during the day tomorrow. And, I watch the pros mostly. I like the Lions. I've been a Lions fan since I can remember. All I remember, I used to watch the college running backs, and then I would hope that Detroit would draft them, and then that Detroit would draft them. I started doing that with Billy Sims at Oklahoma State. I'm like, Detroit has got to draft Billy Sims. Billy Sims will put him on the map. And then they drafted him. Then I did the same thing with Barry Sanders. They spotted him in college, and I'm like, oh, I need the Lions to get Barry Sanders. And they did. I think that they didn't know the right path for building a successful NFL franchise back then. I believe that Sheila Ford Hamp has got the right plan. I think she's got the right GM. I think she's got the right coach in place. And I credit the way she's running to the team to Martha Ford, the owner, who is 100 years old as of last Tuesday, I believe. And she's sharp. I saw her addressing the team on one of their locker room broadcasts. She's sharp at 100 years old. It's impressive. I can only hope to be so sharp when I'm 100. Okay. I can only hope. But yeah, they've got the right personnel from the top down now, and I believe that there's no limit to what the Lions can achieve now. I am expecting them to be 16-1 in the regular season this year. I'm expecting them to storm through the playoffs and actually win the Super Bowl this year. High expectations, I know. I got no problem with that. Well, if I'm standing in my front yard and Dan Campbell walks by and says, "Follow me," guess where I'm going? And I'm going to follow. The man's a born leader. Have you seen the way those guys play for him? I'm telling you, they ain't leaving nothing in the tank. Every man out there is giving him 100%. Without a doubt. And when I look at the quarterback, Jared Goff, I think he's in his prime right now. I really do. When I look at the way he moves in the pocket, it reminds me of Joe Montana. It reminds me of Peyton Manning. I mean, he's in control of everything. He calls the audibles after he reads the defense. And the guy's just sharp. He's accurate. Every time I watch, I sit there and I count his completions in a row. Right? I see this team, they do long drives. Last weekend they did, or last Monday night they did a 98-yard drive and a 96-yard drive. Wow. That's impressive. You got poor field position, and yet you can still put together a scoring drive. That's what I like to see. I'm expecting them to put a whooping on Cleveland like Glenn ain't seen. Could be a 50 burger. Right? I know that Cleveland defense is supposed to be special, but I don't think they got the speed to hang with the Lions. The Lions are too fast. Well, when I think of fast, I think of Jameson Williams, and I think of Jahmyr Gibbs. Both of those guys are grease lightning. At their position, I think they're the fastest men on the field. And they're savvy. They know what they're doing. And I think that's because of the detail that comes from the coaching. Excuse me. I think that everyone has an assignment on every play. If it's a running play, the wide receivers still have to put blocks on. Everyone's busy. Just because it's a running play doesn't mean the wide receivers don't have to participate. Same thing with the tight ends. I enjoy watching the Lions. It's my favorite show on TV. My youngest son was razzing me last night on the phone because I'm telling him, I'm jonesing because I know that the football season's going to end in February. And it's like, I wish it could go year round. I really do. I understand there's a physicality there and the players need time for their bodies to recover and heal. But man, if they went to a 20-game season, it would, cut off a month of that down season time. And I think that would be ideal. The 53-man roster, I think, should be expanded. I think they should take it to probably 60. They'd still want to have a practice squad, but I think the only reason they don't is there's a shortage of men that are, 6'5" or 275. They can't find enough of these big monster guys. But, I think the 90-man roster is good for spring training. But 53, you don't have enough guys. I think you need to have more backups. Because if they're going to make the season longer, they're going to need a larger pool of their main resource, the players, right? So I think that if they take the 53-man roster and move it to a 60-man roster, that'll enable them to be able to go a 20-game season. They're at 17 now. Heck, I remember when they were 14, So don't tell me they can't go to 20, because they can. I think that this stuff that they're doing in other countries is good for, building a fan base and stuff. But logistically, I can't see them putting in expansion teams in other countries, because they'd spend more time on airplanes and flying than they would actually on the field practicing. Personal opinion. It's just, if you got to be in Florida one week and Spain the next week, and then California the week after that, it's just too much. And then fly down to Brazil, But if they want to keep, hosting games overseas and stuff, I got no issue with that. It's nice. Let them learn American football. Let them see it. It makes me wonder, though, what are they charging for those tickets? You know what I mean? I mean, some of them are downright outrageous here in the States. I want the sporting events to remain cheap. I want people to be able to get in and fill these 80,000 seat stadiums, you know. Personal opinion, you know. I think that'd be a great job for me, though, is interim pro football coach. I wouldn't want the job full time. And I doubt that I'm qualified to do it one day, but it would be fun for me to be an interim coach. I think I could enjoy something like that. I liked teaching, and I liked a lot of things dealing with people, getting people motivated. I think is relatively simple, you know. But the football that I would like to do would be just interim, just a part-time deal. Come in, fill in for 1 week, 2 weeks. But, it'll never happen. That's in my dream world. Reality sets in and well, yeah, we're going to bring a cigarette smoker to show a bunch of professional athletes how to get motivated. Yeah. It makes no sense at all, right? Yeah. I'd light up and they'd say, all right, get him out of here. He's fired. He's done. And I wouldn't blame them. Well, we can all have our fantasies. We can all have our dreams. Mine is to be an interim pro football coach. Wouldn't want to do it full time, believe me, but it'd be cool. Well, I think that some of these offensive coordinators are stupid, be honest with you. I do not agree with throwing a forward pass behind the line of scrimmage. I'll tell you that right now. To me, that's foolish. If you're throwing a forward pass behind the line of scrimmage, it makes no sense. I know they're doing these little screen passes and all I say to that is, is to the defense, go get them tackled for loss. That's what I want to see in every instance. In this game Sunday, I'm hoping that Cleveland goes down their quarterback roster, and I'd like to see him start Shedeur Sanders. Hey, I like the kid. I'd like to see him play. Oh, I know they like this Dillon Gabriel better, but they're probably just going to start Joe Flacco, which I'm sure that Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch are waiting on Joe Flacco. I mean, they might be buying him champagne. Well, I think they're going to pick him off. I think they're going to intercept his passes. He's not precise enough. I don't think there's enough zip on the ball. You give the Lions safeties, you give them time to close and the distance, and they're ball hawks. They're looking for the ball. And they're not looking to stop that receiver. They're looking for the ball. They want to steal it. Okay. And I'm glad they want to steal it. You know, the Lions linebackers are badass. You know, Barnes, Anzalone, even Cunningham. Uh, they're they're going to flock to the ball no matter what. It's just who they are. Our defensive line for the Lions, I say our, but the defensive line has got reinforcements coming. Not this week, but I think each of the next 2 weeks they'll get another guy back. I expect Pascal to be back, and I expect the week after, I think Aleem McNeil. And once Aleem McNeil hits the field, all bets are off. It's going to vault the Lions as one of the top defenses in the league. Aleem McNeil's no joke. Okay, if you've ever seen him play, the man's as serious as a heart attack. Okay. When he decides that he's going to go get the quarterback, it's exactly what he does. Doesn't matter how many guys you put in front of him. He doesn't care. Yeah. No, so yeah, the defensive line has got reinforcements coming. And as far as I'm concerned, there's 3 number 1 wide receivers on the team. There's 2 number 1 running backs on the team. Right. The wide receivers are Amon-Ra St. Brown. Little dyslexia there. Jameson Williams, and the new kid Tesla, Isaac Tesla. All 3 of them I consider to be number 1 wide receivers on any team in the league. They'd be the number 1 because they're all on one team. They're not all number 1. It's St. Brown number 1, but if they were on individual teams, they'd all be a number 1. And of course, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, the best running back tandem in the NFL by far. I'm expecting them to run like crazy on Cleveland. I'm looking for a lot of explosive runs. I expect Cleveland to do good for the first quarter, maybe the second quarter on defense. But by the time the third quarter rolls around, their defense will have spent too much time on the field, and they'll start to get worn out. The Lions just have too many weapons. And if they stack up to stop the run, Jared Goff will pick them apart in their secondary. And if they load up their secondary, the Lions will just run through the line like there's no one there. You know, could be a 50 burger. That's the way I see it. I think the Lions are going to put up some serious points. I think it'll wake the rest of the league up, and they're going to say, wait a second. These guys are serious again. You know, I expect their record to be 16-1. I'm just saying. Well, maybe Cleveland can prove me wrong, but I don't see it happening. I know I'm running on about football. Well, you guys don't get in the chat. You're leaving me into my own rabbit holes here. Get in the chat and discuss what you want to discuss. It's your show. Every Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Download that Discord app from YouTube and get in here and chat. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Once this chat room gets populated, I probably won't ever get to talk about football again. You never know. We'll see how it works out. I enjoy watching the pro football because I've got the time to do it now. I used to have to work, and it's totally different now. Got the Gatorade. Oh, I'm getting caught up, This is my daily routine. My doctor said I need electrolytes, so I do the Gatorade every afternoon. It just pushes back my my second Dr. Pepper to dinner time, which is fine with me. After I finish the second Dr. Pepper, then I switch to just water unless I'm going to have a beer. But I'm not going to have a beer. Not today. Well, I had my last one last night. I ran out. And I'm not going to the store, so, I'll go to the store next Tuesday. So I won't be having any beers from now till at least Tuesday. I used to have a real problem with alcohol. I don't have a problem with it anymore. I don't get drunk anymore. Well, it was too hard on my body. I abused my body when I was young with drugs and alcohol. Fortunately, I outgrew that and I don't do that any longer. I do smoke marijuana. Well, after this cigarette, the show will end and I'll probably load a bowl, smoke my bowl of pot before I go for my walk. I am a creature of habit. I know it's sad, but that's what I do. When I was young, I improvised a lot. My life, I was winging it at every, Well, when I was young in Vegas, I remember, 24 years old, Las Vegas, I was on the go. It's disgusting the amount of trouble I got into. No, not arrest trouble. I mean, like, 2 hours sleep. You got to get up and go to work. That kind of trouble. Where you run yourself ragged. Well, it's time to start winding down the show here. The last 10 minutes, I like to. I don't have a set thing. I just like to tell people to live and let live. You know, it's my belief that if you're kind to everybody, always, that kindness will come back to your life tenfold. I honestly believe that. Don't try to micromanage your neighbors. Okay? Leave them alone. Let them be unique. Let them be individuals. Focus on you. Put out good vibes. Live and let live. I want you to enjoy all the things you want to enjoy. I just think that if we just take a beat, just take a second to be more patient with each other, more understanding, more compassionate, more inclusive, everybody's life improves. I see people trying to judge their neighbors. You know, if I mow my lawn north and south and you mow your lawn east and west, what gives me the right to say anything about it and to try to make you change? What gives you the right to say anything to me about it and try to get me to change? We should both just be thankful that we're both mowing the lawn. Okay? And leave each other alone. Let people be individuals. I guarantee you, those same neighbors that you're trying to micromanage, you're trying to judge, I guarantee you that when push comes to shove in this life, they're the ones that are going to be there to save you. And you're the one that's going to be there to save them. It's not going to be your government. Okay? It's going to be your neighbors, your fellow Americans. I don't know a single American that's planning on hurting someone tomorrow. I don't know of a single American that's planning on stealing from someone tomorrow. I don't know of any American that is premeditatedly trying to hurt others. I don't see that. I don't run into it. If you're watching your local news, I'm sorry. Shut it off. It's propaganda. They're making you think there's a crime on every corner in America, and there's just not. The good people outnumber the bad people by a lot. I'm talking, 10 to 1, right? People are good. People are decent. People care. Okay. We all have more common ground than you realize. I know when you're watching the propaganda that they put on our corporate news media, they're trying to scare you. They're trying to manipulate you. Okay. It's what they do. They have college degrees in how to do this, right? But that's not real life, right? Have you ever seen a John Wick movie? It's not real life. Okay. It's just not, right? In real life, you don't get to hit anyone. If you punch someone, you go to jail. That's real life. In real life, if you point a gun at someone, you go to jail. You don't even have to shoot them. Just point the gun at them. It's illegal. You can't do it. All that crap is from TV, from movies. It's all make-believe. The reality is nobody's gunning for anybody. Nobody's threatening anyone. These are all good people around you. If you don't believe me, go to lunch with them. You'll find out. Once you work a day with somebody, they're no longer a stranger. Once you break bread with somebody, they're no longer a stranger, right? People are inherently decent. We've all got morals. We've all got values. We've all got ethics. Okay? The TV is make-believe. If you don't believe me, go to the college and take the class, and you can learn exactly how to manipulate the media. The media knows. They know when you look at the TV screen, they know exactly what point you see when. Did you focus on this spot first, or did you focus on that spot of the screen first? They know. They've studied it, and they teach it. In the language that they use, they are trying to control and manipulate you. It's, mother injured, story at 11. Everybody's got to tune in. Whose mother? How'd she get injured? Right? They're trying to control and manipulate you with tease lines. Right? They're presenting their opinion as fact. When was the last time you saw one of your news anchors sit back and say, well, in my opinion? You've never seen it. All right. Okay. That's not how they operate. They're trying to tell you what your opinion's supposed to be. Turn them off. Self-censor. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Be nice. Be kind. Be considerate. Be compassionate and understanding, right? Treat people the way you want to be treated. It's not hard. It's actually very simple. It is Friday, so I will not be on tomorrow. I will be here Monday. Monday at 3 p.m. We're going to do this all over again, and hopefully you guys will get in the chat and tell me when to shut up. I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. If you could, like and subscribe. If not, don't sweat it. It's okay. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Ghost Mosley. I'll see you Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. That being said, have a great weekend. Go Lions. We'll see you on Monday.